Oh my God, Newman! Newman! Newman!
What can Ryan Blaney now do? Here comes a push from Denny Hamlin.
Oh!
Here it comes. Newman coming off board.
Turn 4 for the final time. Blaney to the outside.
Oh, Blaney! Oh, Newman! Oh! Oh my God! Oh my God!
In a shower of sparks on his roof.
Oh my God!
Across the line, 4th. And comes to rest.
Please tell me he gets out of that car!
Unofficial. Between Hamlin and Blaney as far as who crossed the finish line first.
Get out of that! Oh my God, get out of that car! Folks,
Newman got turned.
whoever whoever you're standing next to, now's the time to pray. Alright guys, what's going on? This is your Angry Birds NASCAR fan, the Blue Jimmy 48 fan here. And let me be the first to say, God gave us a blessing. God truly gave us a blessing today. It was just another ordinary Daytona 500, you know. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Everybody's battling out for the win, you know, making aggressive blocks, all this type of stuff, you know, doing everything in their power to win that Harley J. Earl Trophy. They all had that mindset. But unfortunately, coming down to the checkered flag, both Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin were battling hard, and then Blaney, from what it looked like, he got into the right rear of Ryan Newman, who was the leader at the time, as he was about, I guess you could say, about a good probably 200, 300 feet away from winning his second Daytona 500, which, my honest opinion, would have been a really incredible underdog win. Even though I've mocked Newman in the past. I've joked around with, we joke around with him a little bit, you know, as the ogre. But you know, as I was like watching the like last couple of laps and all that, it's, you know, whenever you're, you know, it shows you that this really is a competitive sport. Like, NASCAR truly is competitive, and drivers will be willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what risks, no matter what chances no matter what chances they take, no matter how big the risk is, they're willing to take it. Otherwise, you know, they're not racers. That's pretty much it. But anyway, after Ryan Newman got turned by Blaney, he pounded the outside retaining wall, immediately was up in the air, and then Corey LaJoie, who was trying to avoid the incident, he absolutely just pile drove, and I mean literally pile drove the driver's side door of Newman's car. And, you know, at that moment, it looked like, you know, like at first glance, you're just like, wow, that just happened. But then a second vision came to me, and it just said to me, something just said to me, like, this sport truly is this sport truly is dangerous, and these drivers sacrifice so much to, they put their lives at risk to do whatever it takes to be the best out there each and every week. And we may, everybody in the NASCAR community, we may mock these drivers, for what they, for the things they do on, on the racetrack, both on and off the racetrack, mind you. And we all have our, we all may have our disagreements here and there, but at the end of the day, we're just all human beings. We're literally just human beings at the end of the day, trying to make our mark in this world. And from that crash, like, all of us were thinking that, like, it was going to be the worst. And for a moment, like, there are days when the world spins around, it rotates, but this day honestly felt like the world stood still. Especially to all those who stayed in attendance, I'm sure, for that race. To those who did stay, I don't know what to say, except I felt that emotion with you. And, all of us here in the community, our first reaction was, holy crap, that just happened. And you hope to God that he would have gotten out of that car. And life can, God will tell you when it's your time. And, God has a reason for everything. But we were very fortunate enough that tonight it wasn't the worst, as Newman has survived the crash miraculously. At first glance, at when I was simming through all the replays and everything after the race, I thought for a fact he was gone. I thought Newman was dead. And dead is a very, very strong word. It's a very strong word. But we were very fortunate that this didn't turn out to be, we were very fortunate that this didn't end up turning out like 2001 when Dale Sr. passed away in which back then, when the accident happened in 2001, back then when the accident happened, NASCAR officially made an emphasis on safety. And safety was their top priority to all the drivers that competed these races all the time. This happened. This also has been a game changer, in just racing in general. Look at what happened to my good friend Joseph Costello back in June, when I I think it was back in June. Yeah, I think it was back in June, but or some maybe May, June or something like that. But you saw me. You saw that. You saw that horrific crash at Riverhead, and he somehow survived that. I thought for a fact it was going to be much more serious, but safety has been like a very, very huge factor, especially when it comes to racing, and especially like other series like IndyCar, NASCAR, IMSA, all these other series. Safety has been basically the number one priority when it comes down to if the drivers ever get involved in any sort of incident. But judging by the impact from what we saw tonight, from that crash tonight, it looked like it was gonna be. It would look like it was gonna be the worst, but thankfully it wasn't. And God truly gave us a blessing in disguise. God really did. In terms of the race, the whole race itself, the Daytona 500 itself, the reaction in general, out of respect for Ryan Newman, his entire and the entire Newman family, everybody in the NASCAR community, I mean, obviously, I know it's okay to, obviously, a lot of people kind of jumped the gun, basically, when it came to this. When people first heard about this news, like, when it first broke out, when the accident happened, people were posting videos, and obviously, there was a lot of criticism, backlash, and all that kind of stuff regarding that. And, I, for one, was I obviously was very respective. And I decided to hold myself. I did not post anything out of respect for the family, because honestly, I felt like it. Because honestly, it wasn't the right thing to do. Because especially when you didn't hear, when all these rumors were just going around, people were just jumping the gun too much. And especially on Twitter, which looking back, even though my account did get, even though I'm basically never allowed to be on Twitter again, I'm honestly kind of glad now that I'm staying away from these platforms, because something like this would have probably triggered me. Something like this would have gotten me upset, and it probably, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that would have been upset by this, by just jumping the gun and just drawing to conclusions. One big takeaway, from all of this is, don't jump to assumptions until at least a verified source says something. I was just nervously waiting, just like I'm sure the rest of the just like the rest of the NASCAR world, I'm sure. When we were waiting for Steve O'Donnell, to give his statement, and we were very fortunate to hear that Newman's injuries were non-life threatening, but he is still in critical condition. But the only thing we can do right now, the only thing we can do right now is pray. That's all we can do right now. I obviously wish Ryan Newman nothing but the best of a very, very speedy recovery. I hope he returns to racing, because I'm hoping this isn't a career ender, because Ryan Newman has battled through so many vicious wrecks over the course of his career. He's been on the roof of many other cars in the past. 2009 Talladega. What was it? Kurt Busch 2013 Talladega. Ryan Newman has been in some pretty vicious wrecks, and obviously this one was the most vicious of them all. But we just have to be lucky. We have to be lucky that that Newman is okay. And we also, as human beings, we also have to be very lucky that we didn't witness another tragedy today. We humans should be we NASCAR fans should be very, very fortunate that we didn't witness another tragedy today. So, with that said, guys, I wish Ryan Newman nothing but the best of a speedy recovery. Obviously, in terms of me uploading the reaction, it's probably going to be a last minute decision for me if I want to post it or not. But I may still, but I just don't feel like uploading it right now, if you know what I mean, because I'm literally recording this at like 11 o'clock. I'm literally recording this like about half an hour like after the announcement was made. So anyway, I was real lucky to have this car right here. If you can see it right there. This is 2015. I think this is 2015. 2015 or 2016. But I was very fortunate enough to have this car. To buy this back when I was at Dover. And I probably if I had a channel back then, I probably would have done a diecast review on this, but we all should be really lucky right now. Newman, I wish you nothing but the best, man. Hope you come back into the sport stronger than you have ever been. We were very lucky today. We were very, very lucky.